Today is Tuesday of the second week of Easter, and we continue to try to process the meaning of Jesus' resurrection for ourselves and for our community. Our first readings since Easter have been from the Acts of the Apostles, and that will continue to be the case until Pentecost. So far, they've shown a whirlwind of activity guided by the Spirit. Pentecost, the baptisms of many, miracles performed, and Peter's preaching. Today's reading, however, focuses on the community of believers being of one heart and mind, sharing possessions to be distributed to each according to need. We're given the specific example of Joseph, also named Barnabas, who, having sold a piece of property, lays the money at the feet of the apostles. As we consider this extraordinary example of community, we might reflect on our own parish and how we see ourselves as members of this community of believers. We may not have property to lay at the altar, although we do have a responsibility to offer what we can to maintain our parish church and respond to the needs it identifies. And of course, as members of our community of believers, we each possess a most powerful tool in our commitment to pray for each other, as well as our community and the world. Sometimes here at Holy Trinity, it seems difficult to see us of one heart and mind. We have a special challenge, unlike many other parishes, in that we don't all come from the same local neighborhood, and our community rests on being members of a community of believers. Yes, over time, many develop connections and form communities within a community. And yes, we have many opportunities in the form of prayer and church groups, but not everyone is free to join due to life's demands. Maybe the closest setting we have to resemble the faith community of today's reading from the Acts of the Apostles is where most of us gather, Sunday Mass. As we enter and are seated, we have the opportunity to reach out to each other as we come together by greeting each other and exchanging names as we feel comfortable. Together, we hear the word of the Lord and try to internalize it through the homily and in our own thoughts. So already we are at that moment of one mind. The liturgy of the Eucharist follows, during which we pray together the Our Father. Might we at that point, in the silence of our hearts, consider ourselves united with others around us? We extend a greeting of peace to each other, whether personally known to us or not. Is that not an opportunity to be attentive to others as individuals and consider how individually and together we are united at that moment in belief and worship? Finally, we join together to walk up to the communion table for our shared meal of bread and wine in non-COVID times, in memory of Jesus' words at the Last Supper, which we heard on Holy Thursday from Paul's letter to the Corinthians. This is my body that is for you. Do this in remembrance of me. This cup is a new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. At that moment, are we not of one heart, united in the Paschal mystery of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection? To strengthen our own sense of community, it might be useful sometimes to take a glance around and let our minds and hearts rejoice, seeing each other in all our similarities and differences as we move in union toward the altar in communion. In conclusion, we are sent forth, an Easter people, to love and serve the Lord, and in the spirit of Holy Thursday, to wash each other's feet. As Jesus says in today's gospel to Nicodemus, the wind blows where it wills, and you can hear the sound it makes, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. May we, who are born of the Spirit in baptism, be attentive to the Spirit's wind and sound, especially as we come together in worship, and follow where that leads, in the hope of becoming even more of one heart and mind. We frequently hear after the final blessing, "Go forth to love and serve the Lord by your lives." Sometime today, let's take some moments to consider how God might be inviting each of us to show our unity of heart and mind with each other and with the risen Christ by our life today.